Dear students, today now we are going to deal a topic of chemistry from your standard 8 book, and I start with metals and non-metals. So see children, suppose I take up a knife and then you see this shiny part of this, it's made up, this is metal. Then I see this key ring and it gets attracted by a magnet probably, and this is also a metal. Let me see. Yeah. So see, this is a metal. How I can prove? Now there is a magnet over here, and see, that means this is made up of iron. All right, this is made up of iron. Now see this. See the magic. Are you watching the magic? So this is a metal. This is iron. Now once again have a look. I have this key ring with me, and let me see if it can hold the key ring. Yeah, key ring is heavy, but it is not falling down, but when I jerk it, it may fall. So metal, somewhat you can guess, like somebody wearing a gold thing or somebody wearing a silver thing, then those things are metal. Then the tin, metal will produce sound when they will hit, they will be hit, and they will produce sound. If you normally hit a metal, then they will make sound. So, but actually, to what category of substance do metal belong? So when we look around ourselves, we see matter all around us, matter, things, and these things are made up of matter. Like you've got water, you've got carbon dioxide, you don't see but you feel. You've got earrings of gold, you've got nut bolts, or you've got handles of wood, of doors made up of iron, grills made up of iron. Now there are two groups matter is divided. One is the compound and another one is the element. Elements, actually everything in this universe is made up of 106 elements officially. Sometimes it varies. Some people nowadays have gone till 110, 120, but roughly around 106 officially named. We don't have to worry about the number, but that many elements are there, and everything is made up of those elements. Either certain things are exactly those elements, or certain things are made up of combination of elements. Like water is made up of combination of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon dioxide is made up of two elements, carbon and oxygen. Now these elements, these 106 elements are categorized actually into metal and non-metals, and I'll tell you later there may be 5 or 6 which are between them, metals and non-metals, but purely at present we'll try to concentrate on metals and non-metals. So first thing is, metals and non-metals are elements. Like nobody can ask you water is a metal or a non-metal, because water is made up of two elements. So classification of metals and non-metal is from elements, not compounds. So I've written a few elements with their symbol: hydrogen H, oxygen O, nitrogen N, bromine Br, iron Fe, gold Au, aluminium, and mercury. So in your 7th basic chemistry, you studied about symbols. How did they come? Now see this black ones, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, I have written black. They are non-metals. Bromine is also non-metal, but see here, they are gaseous. Bromine is the only liquid non-metal. There are some solid non-metals also. So non-metals can be solid, liquid, or gas. There is only one liquid, however, bromine. Some are gases and some are liquids. So one is only. Now here iron, gold, aluminium, mercury. Now again these are metals. Now I am going to put some circle around this. These are metals. So metals. And these are non-metals. Now what is the reason that some elements belong to non-metals and some belongs to metals? It is the property. Like for example, human beings, they are male or female. Based on certain properties, physical characteristics, we are placed as male and female, and certain things which we do in our growth and our lifestyle, so we are separated into two groups of, males and females. Same thing, elements are separated into metals and non-metals. Now, to what group will metal belong to? They should have maximum of such properties first, maximum of such physical properties. So first basis for 8 activities, we start with the physical properties. Now, what physical properties can metals and metals can have? Malleability. That means metals are malleable, means metals can be hit and can be hammered into very thin sheet. You can almost make sheets of metal, like you've seen at your home, the boxes of tin, they're made up of metal sheets. They've been hammered and made. So malleability is a property of metal in which metals can be hammered to make thin sheets. Hammered to thin sheets. I'm giving you a hint, then you rewind and listen to my voice and then write the definition of malleability. Malleability is a property of metals that they can be hammered into thin sheets. The most malleable may be gold or silver. When you go to the sweet shop, you see there is a very thin covering on the barfi of silver. So very thin sheet. Even gold is very malleable, highly malleable. You can make it almost like a film, very thin, or not even page, much more, might be 100 times thinner than the paper, one page of your copy. So that is malleability. Gold is highly malleable, silver is highly malleable, like that. Then we have got ductility. Ductility means metals can be drawn into thin wires. Like you see, there is this metal, and this is the wire, and very thin wires, and these wires have got very high tensile strength that you can add into the property. Like the wire made up of jute and cotton do not have that high tensile strength. That means they cannot take up that much of weight what a metal wire can take. Many metal wires, they are made to hold the bridges on which truck moves. So they're very high tensile strength. Ductility means they can be drawn into wires. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. That means if you are cooking with something, and then you see the metal is there, and if you using a metal only, then this thing will straight away get heated and reach your hand. So you have to have an insulation. See this, there is an insulation. So metals can be, they're good conductor of heat and electricity. And you see the wires in electrical poles, these wires are made up of metals, aluminum wires. Gold is very good conductor and also very highly ductile, but it is not used because it's very expensive. Copper is used most of the time. It is very good conductor compared to aluminum. It is a better conductor. So at home we use copper wire, and for transmissions outside we use aluminum wires. Metals are sonors. As I said, when you hit one metal with another metal, then there will be a sound coming. So some set up, the bell rings, so that sound will come. Sonorous means something pleasant to hear. So metals, when hit, they give very nice sound. They're hard and heavy. Metals are solid, and most of the metals are solid at room temperature. Only sodium is very soft. It can melt in hand also, but solid at room temperature means very high melting point and much higher boiling point. And hard and heavy means metals are very dense. They have got high density. So that is the first part which we have to understand about metal. But then this is physical property. If we talk about chemical property, I mean to say why you place something under metal category and something under non-metal category, that you have to understand. Now, chemical property means metals will lose electron. Metals will lose electrons when they form chemical compounds. So this is very important. Metals, now when you go in chemistry, deep chemistry, at least you should know this little bit. Knowledge you have, when we'll teach you deeper in higher classes, we'll tell you chemical reactions take place because of the activity of electrons. So electrons of one element goes to the other element, or in other words, the second element electron comes to it. So there is loss or gain of electrons. In some cases there is sharing of electrons. So non-metals are just different. So non-metals will gain or share electrons when they form chemical compounds. This you should know. Now we got the physical properties of metal. Now what about physical properties of non-metals? I'll write it with red so you can understand, and you can click the board or something like that. So let us see physical properties of non-metals. Now malleability is not there in any non-metal, because metals are gaseous mainly, or solids which when hit they break up. So non-metals are actually brittle. First property is there is brittle, that means when they are hit they break up. They are generally bad conductor of heat and electricity. They have low melting point and boiling point, that is why some of them are gaseous. Then ductility, they are non-malleable, they are non-ductile, they are non-sonorous. When they hit they do not make any good sound, and they are at room temperature. Most of the non-metals can be of all the three types. Like they can be gaseous, like hydrogen and oxygen are gas, nitrogen are gas, bromine is liquid, carbon may be solid. In carbon, now you see, now we talk in terms of a few more informations, like some exceptions. I said metals are, from here we get malleable, ductile, good conductor of heat and electricity, hard and heavy. But here what happens? Sodium is soft and gallium is also soft, they can be cut by knife. Solid at room temperature, mercury is liquid at room temperature, only that is there. Now suppose somebody asks which is the heaviest of the metals. So osmium is very heavy, it is the heaviest. Then obviously iron etc. are there. Now same thing when you talk about physical properties of non-metals. Then non-metals are brittle and they break up easily, but diamond is the hardest known non-metal. Non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity, but some non-metals, only graphite is a non-metal which is a very good conductor of electricity. We use them in battery and all. And then C point you can add there, non-malleable and non-ductile. So this is first the basic concept of metals and non-metals.